value. I'm so excited about RFK is telling
has
us
the highest age standardized cancer incident rate among 204 countries in the world.
he's giving the transparency
Nearly double the next highest rate.
of the health.
Asthma and autoimmune diseases are far more common in the U.S.
He's coming together,
Hello,
the
everybody.
team.
Thank you for that introduction, and
He's amazing.
for minding the agency during my confirmation process. I'm
He's
very,
here
very
to help
happy
with
to be
us
here today.
and bring to
I'm proud
transparency.
that President Trump has appointed me to the position of trust to carry out his agenda to make America healthy again.
Yes, to make America healthy again. I've been working on this for years. I'm so grateful. I've been working on it for years. My work, here's my books. The book that in 2020 I wrote, A Rise to God's Truth, and I will review this in 2020, and before 2012 and 11 I also talk about health issues. And here we are. My name's Lucia Arden. As I told you before, I'm so excited. I'm a consultant speaker, and I'm a consultant speaker, singer for Solutions for America. I've been working on it for years. Here's all my books. Here's my picture, and we'll review. And here's my new books: God First, America are Miracle. God First, Nations are Miracle. All nations need to make God, or justice, which is justice, their miracle. And also the other book is that we're all realizing we have to come together, is In God's Power, America Save Our Legacy. In God's Power, Nations Save Your Legacy. And here's A Rise to God's Truth that I wrote in 2020 that we're going to view right now. And our Need to Give to the World will review later, my 2019 edition. And we also have a beautiful, beautiful things that I do. I have 30-minute free interview, and I also interview children, adults, and consultant for presidents, CEOs, geopolitical specialists, and children, adults, and families. I help with healthy truth solutions in God. My basis is God. And I also sell beautiful stem cell. I want to show you the stem cell life wave is beautiful. It's a stem cell life wave to enhance your stem cells so they could grow into a beautiful, beautiful way to heal you. And it's excellent. It's a program where you come together and you use patches and put them on your shoulders, your back, or different parts of your body, and you heal. And it stimulates your stem cell. It's also a program. Please look me up, and you could sign up for that. See? And that's a passive income, but it's also a company for 20 years. It's been in business. 20 years it's been in business. It's beautiful. For 20 years it's been in business, and it's known to help and heal the body. It stimulates the stem cell. For over 20 years it's been in business, and it shows that it's helped and stimulate the stem cell, and had many healing. And it has different types of stem cell patches to help the body naturally. Thank you so much. So let's get on this. My name is Lucia Arden. Lucia Arden. Here, Rise to God's Truth, Restore and Keep America's Freedom. See this? This was written in 2020. And I always put the Nicene Creed first. Sometimes it's too much for the people, but I do everything in the foundation of God. I seek to, because that's who gives me the information. And then here's information. We'll speak right away on this. This is things that I told that it's an emergency we have to be careful of in the beginning of the book, that the American people, President Trump and the American freedom warriors have had a severe conspiracy against them from the left, democratic and silent, communistic and socialistic, technological, powerful, deceptive individuals. And this is including the pharmacy issues, the food issues, the EMFs, the glycogate, all the things we're talking about, the both sides of the food, regular food that they sell in the market, and also foods that are in the restaurants, and all foods and fertilizers and so forth, all these things we're talking about in vaccines. We also know that there are conspiracies to kill off many of the people. That's why they have the vaccines, and also the vaccination that weren't tested. They just gave to the people, and millions of people died and had injury from the vaccinations. But they made the CCP virus to kill off the people. And then furthermore, December the 10th, 2020, they wanted to give people vaccine of the COVID virus, that the syringe has a tracker in them also. Is this true? They said that the syringe had a tracker, but we know that at this point, that depending on what vaccine you got, that it causes many problems with the nanoparticles and radiation and so forth in the blood. They want a cashless society. Using cards they can track and identify. And that's fine. I asked to use. It's only fine if we don't give so much corporate control, and we don't want to use a credit report of social credit report. This is very bad to control the people's spending on credit cards or anything else. But I believe we still need cash. But I asked for Bitcoin years ago because I studied in Antarctica to have Bitcoin as a product in our nation, as a monetary system in our nation's government, particularly about bonds and other things that we could sell and have our wealth into Bitcoin. This all relates to pharmaceuticals and our health, because our health is controlled by the monetary system and what's going on in everyday life because of the geopolitical powers and the technology and after post-modernity. They are the people in power to create the world that they want. This is what they were trying to do and control with us and this was written in 2020 before, with all the controls they wanted the people in power. They want to digital programs. The people in power want to use technologies to take back human control. They want to use technology to be careful. Even today, we need to realize we need to give the people still privacy. We can't allow the corporate censorship and government to take away all our freedoms. And then under President Trump and the team and the American Freedom Warriors continue to control our economic systems first and safety, and working to putting the American people first. And this is what I wrote in 2020. And safety is in all things. Safety, of course, safety is a military type, number one, for protection of your land and your people, for physical safety, but it's also with health. Safety is also with economy. Safety is also with culture. Safety is also with success in a company, success in your everyday life, in education, because safety relates to all these outcomes. Just like RFK said, we need transparency of truth and working together with the health issues. And we have the greatest health problems ever in the whole world. And we do. And why do we have it? I believe, as I said, in years ago in 2011 and 12, but also formally on my podcast in 2021 with Podcast Business News in New York, that safety is first, but safety is in every way of life. It's not just in military or physical, it's also in all ways of life. Safety is justice. Safety is transparency to bring about justice, working to putting the American people first. And I said that foods after safety, foods and housing and self-sufficient agency of jobs and identity of being and family and children are all should be secondary together. It's written in many of my books, but this is very important. So that is the first page on that book, to warn the main things that we need to come into understanding, that we have to be very, very careful with the issues at hand. But children need to, okay, so this is the problem that come together, which is so beautiful, that RFK talks about the children. There it is. This is in 2020. I wrote, Lucia Arden, children to be protected with the harvest of clean pesticides, pharmaceuticals, and the people do. But children are our future, so children need to be protected with harvest of clean from pesticides, pharmaceuticals, are contaminated and sterile, uncontaminated They need to be uncontaminated and sterile. The infrastructure rebuilding is yet appropriately done and reviewed before the foundation support are finished. So we also need to correct our infrastructure in every way, from the infrastructure, whether it's fixing the pesticides, fixing the pharmaceuticals, and our harvest, the way we get our foods. This is very important. This is what our beautiful RFK is talking about. And I asked for many years, and I got in trouble for this, but thank the Lord I'm okay. And the pharmaceuticals, I have a family member that got involved with pharmaceuticals because she had some problems, and they put her on pharmaceuticals, and she's now much better. And they try the Chinese, I believe it was the Chinese and the cartels, try to bring the San Marino High School down years ago, and they put crystal meth in there, and many children had problems, and they even, I believe they lathed the marijuana with it, and there was a handful of people, or more than a handful, that got into trouble, but many got out, and one of my family members had issues with it, but she's much better, and she's out of the problem, and we got her healed, and everything is fine. And this is with America. This is why we need to fix our pesticides, so children don't get sick from, and our pharmaceuticals, children don't get sick, and family members, and all peoples, all children, just like RFK said. And no vaccinations for children. It should be off limits. It causes, since the 70s, it caused much autism and many diseases. And things need to be uncontaminated from our harvests, our foods, what we eat, and they need to be sterile and clean. And we need because the worker is trustworthy, dedicated, and reliable. However, always check the work. The economy needs to be protected and fair business. So this is actually, this one paragraph is what he's talking, our beautiful RFK, talking about. We need transparency of trustworthy and dedicated, and to make sure it's uncontaminated, sterile, and fair business. So, and we need to not monetize it and have our pharmaceutical companies take advantage of us, and that there's other ways to do medicine, not just the old-fashioned way for the cancer, which kills most of its people eventually, and very few people get healed. Then we need to respect the protesters and police are important in relationship to pharmaceuticals and drugs, because they put the drugs through the borders, and we need to respect, and through our nation, we need to respect one another swiftly, forgive each other. We need to forgive the wounds on both sides, protesters, victims, and innocent police, and all those involved in it that have experienced violence, because this is related to the drugs, to pharmaceuticals, because of fentanyl in our borders. Today in our communities, never before in history, we have had the types of crimes and multiple types of illegal drugs and even abused pharmaceuticals. Never in our history have we ever had that. That's why we do need new mandates, which they talk about mandates. Our J.D. Vance talked about mandates. He used the words instead of laws and regulations, and that's what I believe. I don't believe that we should make regulations on things that are not necessary, but mandates on things that affect our people in relationship to pharmaceuticals and drugs, illegal drugs and foods, and EMFs and spraying and chemical spraying and all those things we talked about. And furthermore, the age of the rapid tool of technology and life-threatening intensity and treacherous crimes involving technology, singular and simultaneously used with other crimes. Our community crimes are enormously complicated. And that also means that when they go through the borders, they make so much money on fentanyl, they make so much money on the fentanyl, they go to other nations and use the crime money that they used our money, America, to abuse and bring crimes to other nations. They don't talk about this. This is called like a current effect of sin, of darkness. And because I worked with global luxury property and global commodities, and one of my bosses told me that these people that are from these countries that bring all their immigrants and the drugs and everything in and pass these immigrants in, whether they were forced or not, they have much money, but they don't take care of their immigrants. They use it to buy properties and also high class prostitution and other very pagan ideas. And you would never expect to have thousands and thousands of children from Ukraine-Russia war and our borders that need to be found. And they use them for treacherous ways involving technologies, such as using the children for scientific testing, and also the babies and the peoples for they kill them and they use them for certain things, and it's a very serious thing. And even pagan rituals, that is true, that is shown, and it's very terrible. And we need to check all the people that have foster children need to be they need to be educated, but also assessed. And I asked our beautiful Elon Musk to look at that, and the border control person that's in control, Tom, to look at that. Both sides of criminal protesters and police are in fear that is unusual. There are more variables to consider in current effects of crimes at any time in history. This is why police are needed more than ever. We have to have protection. But this relates to pharmaceuticals in relationship to phenytoin, because that's changed our country more than ever. It's a war on drugs, on the people, and also alcoholism and all sorts of drugs they threw into in Philadelphia. I hear it's in the water, and in all the drugs they have in New York. They have a lot of issues. Many countries, and also the drugs are actually criminals, and criminals on both sides. Criminals, they spray chemicals in the air, and it goes down into each community, and then they use EMFs, radiation, to transfer it into the people. It's very terrible. And the human trafficking causes drugs and pharmaceuticals. They cause human trafficking because a lot of these people that take these mental health drugs become human trafficked, because these drugs need to be watched very closely, and they let them out of the hospital at a certain time, and they may not have a place to live. They let them out, and they have to have a place to live before they let them out. That's many of the laws in different states. But sometimes they're not able to stay there long periods of time, so it's very serious. And sometimes their medicine is not. Many times their medicine is not looked after. So this needs to be taken care of very much. It's a very in globalization is a lot of this problem, because people have different belief systems, all the way down from the rich to the poor to the elite communist. And we'll show you later about that special coin page of what has happened. So globalization, people says globalization is finished. They're still trying, globalization is still trying to integrate immigrants to different countries, but there's contraindications of globalizations. That's why we need mandates and laws and protection for the people, and protection of our borders and well-being, which is very important to keep our country strong and alive and free. So let's go on to the next thing. We need to realize that we need to realize that they put so much problems on the police in the open borders now, with all the drugs, that needs to be addressed very seriously. And we'll see the outcomes. When I was in Texas, people would tell me, the Uber driver says, indirectly, he told me about the problem of drug kitchens, because when they opened up the borders, many people came through the Texas border, so they were making drug kitchens. And he says he caught it, and he found out, and he was from Texas, that they were using immigrants and people, young kids, to make these drug kitchens. And he was able to tell someone. So I brought that point up, and I kept on talking about it and praying about it, because I felt like something was going wrong there when I saw that. But that's one of the reasons, when I saw the situation there. And this has to be corrected and protected. Today in our communities, never before in history, we had various types of crimes and multiple kinds of illegal drugs and even abuse, pharmaceuticals and masonry and trickery.